Hello everyone and welcome back for another Unity input system tutorial. I am Luca from ChosenPlay. In the first video I showed you how to set up the Unity new input system in what I consider to be the easiest possible way. If you didn't see it, I'm going to link this in the description. In this second video though, I'm going to show you how you can change action maps at runtime. As you can see, this is exactly the same project I've used for the first tutorial. So we can just open up the input master here, and here are the action maps. In the first tutorial we just created one action map called player. Now we are going to create another one, and we can call this inverted, for example. This action is going to be movement, okay, and this is going to be, this is a right click to have this menu show up, and a 2D vector composite that's going to be WASD. This one you can delete. Now, one difference in between the first video and this one is that we want to come here on the movement and change this action type from button to value, because we want to use the value that's going to be passed through when we press the button. So change it here, change it here too, and here we are going to create an inverted control system, so that when you press right the character will go left, and when you press left the character will go right. So here we are going to bind everything exactly like we did in the first video. So listen up and down, listen, okay, so just W and S, but this time for left we are going to use the D, and for right we're going to use the A, and save. We have done here. Okay, now the focal point of this whole tutorial is to take this action map, the standard one, disable this and change it into this inverted action map, and vice versa at runtime. Okay, so here we've done everything that we could. Now I'm going to create very fast a game object with a trigger collider that will change the action map of the player when the player runs into it. So I'm going to just very fast create it. Okay, as you can see, we have an empty game object here that only has a box of collider 2D. The collider is trigger. Okay, now since we are going to need to trigger this function when the player enters the trigger area, we are going to need a tag. So I'm going to come here over the player, click here on tag and select player, but you can use whatever tag you want actually. Now we are going to need a script for this. So let's go to add component, new script. I'm going to call this control changer, create a node, and of course let's open it up in Visual Studio using Unity engine.input system. And we are going to need a couple of variables here. First of all, we need a reference to this component on the player game object. Where is it? This player input controller. Okay, so let's create a player input variable, and let's call it control. And then we're going to need a boolean bool. I'm going to call this, let's see, control switched. Okay, we are ready. Now we are going to create an onTriggerEnter2D function like this, and I'm going to change collision to other. I really hate how Unity call this collision as a standard. And first if other dot game object dot compare tag player. This means that whatever we are going to write inside this function will work only if the game object entering the trigger area is going to have the tag player. Okay, this will make it so that if enemies or whoever else enter the trigger area, nothing will happen. Okay, now another if control switched, it's going to happen something else. Now, first thing we want is to get hold of the player input on the player so we can modify it. So other from game object dot get component player input. Of course, we want to put this into control equal other game object player input. So now we can do this. Control dot actions dot find action map inverted dot disable, because remember, when the control is switched, this means that a new action map will already be enabled. Okay, disabled. Control, yes, dot actions dot find action map player enable, and control switched equal false. Now on the else, this means that this is going to run if control switched is equal to false. We're going to write control dot actions dot find action map player dot disable control dot actions dot find action map inverted dot enable, and control switched equals true. This is it. Save it. Let's go back to Unity. Just let's be sure everything here is correctly done. Seems like it. Let's go back here to player, because remember, we just created a new action map, so we need to assign the movement function to it. So events, as you can see here, the new action map is here. You can open it up, movement, add, just like we did in the first video, player controller, movement, and save. And if we run the game now, you should see I'm just going to keep pressing the right button, and you will see that when the player enter the trigger area, the control scheme will automatically be switched and the player will start going to the left, just like this. See? Now, to go right, I'm going to press the left button, and you will see that when it enters the trigger area again, the control scheme will be switched again, and it will start going to the left again, playing the left switch, just like this. And again, and again, and again, 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 again. And this is it. This is how you do it in the most easy way, at least in my opinion. Of course, you can do this for whatever. Instead of having a trigger area like this just to change the movement, you can just add these codes when, for example, you press start on your gamepad, and as you open up the pause menu, then you can change the control scheme for menu controls. So this is it. Of course, for any question, please don't hesitate to join us on our very little Discord server, so you can get in contact directly with me. The link is going to be in the description. Of course, if you found this tutorial useful, just leave a like or comment, subscribe to the channel, and all the good stuff. I will see you next time.